Welcome back, students. In the last period, we have seen the last topics of the chapter number 2, that is acid, bases, and salts, about digestion, importance of digestion in the day-to-day life. Okay, now today we are going to discuss the questions which are present in the text of the chapter. Okay, in text questions we are going to discuss. So first of all, we are going to discuss the page number 18 question which is given on the page number 18, which is actually very important question. Same question was asked in the exam also, board exam also. So see, the question is, you have been provided with 3 test tubes. One of them is having distilled water, and other 2 contains an acidic solution, basic solution respectively, but we don't know which solution is kept in which test tube. So if you are given a red litmus paper, how will you identify the content of each test tube? Now to identify, actually in fact, if you want to identify these 3 test tube solution, we should have different litmus paper like red and blue litmus paper, but here only a red litmus paper is given to you. Okay, and by using only one litmus paper we have to identify the unknown solution. So for some of them, some of you will think that it is impossible, but you can do this. Okay, so let us see in the stepwise how will you do this. First of all, put the red litmus paper in all test tube. Okay, put the litmus paper in all the test tubes turn by turn. Okay, matlab slowly matlab step by step, in one by one the test tube we have to dip that red litmus paper. So the solution turns red, litmus blue will be basic solution. Now see, we know that red litmus paper when turns blue, that can only happen in the basic solution. So base turns red litmus paper blue, we know that. Okay, so wherever it is changing the blue in color, that is basic solution. So one, we have got the basic solution, because red litmus paper will not change the color in acidic solution, it will remain red only, and in water also, water as it is neutral, it will not show any change, so it will become blue only when there is a base in a test tube. Okay, so we have identified one. Now see, the blue litmus paper, see, blue will be basic in basic solution. The blue litmus paper formed here can now be used to test the acidic solution. Okay, now see, here we have got a blue litmus paper, because when red was dipped in the basic solution, it turns blue, so that blue litmus paper can be used to test the remaining solutions. So this blue litmus paper, when dipped in the another unknown solution, in water though it will not change, but when it will be dipped in the acidic solution, it will turn red. Okay, put the blue litmus paper obtained in the remaining 2 test tube turn by turn, and then the solution which turns the blue litmus paper red will be acidic solution. Now see, wherever it becomes red again, that will be acidic. The solution which has no effect on any litmus paper will be neutral, hence it will be distilled water. So the solution which does not change blue either or red litmus paper, that will be neutral. So that's how we can identify the litmus paper, the unknown solution. Okay, by using the litmus paper. On page number 22, we have another question. Why should curd and sour substances not be kept in the brass or copper vessels? See, curd is a sour substance, should not be kept in the brass and copper vessels, because these and other source foodstuffs contains acids which can react with the metal on the vessels to form a poisonous metal compounds, which can cause food poisoning and affect our health adversely. Okay, see, we know that the acids reacts with the metals, and if you store these acids in the metal containers, sour substances matlab which has acid in it, so such substances when stored in the metal containers, the reaction takes place to form a hydrogen gas along with other metal salts that can be poisonous and can affect the health very badly. Question number 2 on the same page number is, which gas is usually liberated when the acid reacts with metal? Just now I told acid reacts with metal to always form hydrogen gas. Illustrate with an example. How will you test the presence of this gas? Okay, now see, this is the things we required for this testing the gas. Okay, so we have to take the metal stand. Okay, generally hydrogen gas is liberated when any acid react with any metal. कोई भी एसिड कौन से भी मेटल के साथ रिएक्ट होता है तो हमेशा द कंपल्सरी हाइड्रोजन गैस ही रिलीज होता है. ओके, the explanation is given here. Set up the apparatus as shown in the figure below and take some small zinc granules, okay, in the test tube. Now see here, test tube is there. This is a test tube which is attached to a metal stand. This is a metal stand. Okay, metal stand को attach किया हुआ. Then metal test tube is fixed with the rubber cork. Okay, and then from the rubber cork one delivery tube is inserted in the rubber cork, and it is given in the soap solution. It is poured in a soap solution, you can see here. Now see, when this is poured in the soap solution in the trough, okay, this is the trough which is kept aside. Now see, add some dilute hydrochloric acid slowly in the test tube fixed to the metal stand. Then soon the reaction between the zinc and the hydrochloric acid will take place and the hydrogen gas is evolved. Okay, but that hydrogen gas evolved can be burning. You can see, how will you understand the gas evolved is the hydrogen gas only. Now see, the gas is coming out in the form of bubbles here. Okay, these are the bubbles of the gas, but how will you say that this gas is hydrogen gas only? So hydrogen gas, whenever it burns with the pop sound. So whenever this gas tested, when it produces the pop sound, okay, so that gas is compulsory hydrogen gas only. So this diagram is required for this. So you can see reaction between the zinc granule with dilute H2SO4 and testing the hydrogen gas by burning in candle. Okay, so you can bring the candle near the bubbles, and if the bubbles burns with the pop sound, then the gas is hydrogen gas. So you can see that easily, you can check. So diagram is very important. This diagram is asked for 2 marks, okay, in the exam. So you should know these diagrams. Okay, very important diagrams for reaction of any metal with any acid. We can use this diagram. Okay, then we have next important part of this answer is test for H2. H2 gas is not soluble in water. It's not soluble in water, matlab it's insoluble. Hydrogen gas doesn't dissolve in the water. So when passed through the soap solution, it forms the bubbles of the soap solution, and it gets trapped into the bubbles and burning. When you bring it near the burning candle, the soap bubbles filled with the gas. The soap bubbles burst and hydrogen gas burns with the pop sound. So this is the test for hydrogen gas. Okay, anywhere wherever you want to test the hydrogen gas, the same procedure used. Okay, burning candle is brought near the hydrogen gas. So when it burns with the pop sound, it is confirmed that the gas is hydrogen only. So third question is metal compound A reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce the effervescence. Effervescence matlab brisk bubbles are coming with the fast speed. So the gas evolved extinguishes the burning candle. Extinguishing burning candle, this property can only be present in the carbon dioxide. So the gas is carbon dioxide. This is confirmed. Write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction if one of the compound is formed, calcium chloride. So see, calcium chloride is also given. Extinguishing fire is this is the hint given to you. So see, metal reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. So dilute hydrochloric acid and calcium carbonate. So Ca carbonates, when react with acid, the one product is always carbon dioxide along with water, and another product will be calcium chloride. So this is the balanced chemical reaction for this. You can see answer, as the end product is calcium chloride, the gas formed is carbon dioxide. The metal compounds must be calcium carbonate. Okay, therefore the reaction between the calcium carbonate and the hydrochloric acid is CaCO3 plus HCl twice HCl gives CaCl2 plus CO2 plus H2O. So this is the reaction which is asked to balance also. Next is on page number 25, question number 1. Why do HCl, HNO3 etc. show acidic characteristics in aqueous solution, while solution of compounds like alcohol and glucose do not show acidic characters? Now see, as you have given the definition of acids, that anything which contain acid H plus, anything which contain hydrogen, that is H plus, is called as acid. So but here we say that HCl, HNO3, they are acids because they have H plus ions, hydrogen in it. But the compounds like alcohol also have hydrogen, glucose also have hydrogen, but they do not show acidic characters. So answer is, now see, you can see here, Answer is H plus ions in aqueous solutions are responsible for the acidic characters. Now when you add any acid in the water, it shows that H plus ion, it produces the H plus. On dissociation it gives a, for example, HCl is there, on dissociation it gives H plus plus Cl minus. So these H plus and Cl minus are produced in the aqueous solution. So alcohol and glucose do not produce these H plus ions, and hence they are not considered as acid. Okay. Next question is, why does an aqueous solution of an acid conduct electricity? Now see, for conduction of electricity what we require is the charges, and here in aqueous solution of acid, that is any acid, if you take positive and negative, that is cation and anions are present. These two charges, two ions can produce, opposite ions can help in conduction of electricity. So the aqueous solution of an acid conducts electricity due to the presence of charged particles called ions in it. So these are the ions which are responsible for the conduction of electricity. Next, third question is, why does dry HCl gas does not change the color of dry litmus paper? Now see, dry gas does not dissociate. So for dissociation, or to show the acidic property, the dissociation is required, and dissociation can take place only in the presence of water. So dry gas does not dissociate, and if it doesn't dissociate, it doesn't have H plus ions separate. Okay, so instead of dry litmus paper, if you take a wet litmus paper, then HCl gas will come in contact of wet litmus paper, and the HCl gas will ionize, and after ionizing, H plus can be detected by the wet litmus paper but not the dry. Okay, so you can see here dry litmus paper doesn't give H plus ions and therefore does not change the color of dry litmus paper. So this is the answer. Question number 4, while diluting an acid, why it is recommended that the acid should be added in water, not the water in acid? Okay, so very important precaution based question. So while diluting an acid, it is recommended that we should add acid to the water. Reason is that, not water to the acid, reason is that if water is added to concentrated acid to dilute it, if the concentrated, that means the pure acid is taken, and if you add the water, then a large amount of it is released at once. Okay, lots of heat is released at once at the same time, in a short time lots of heat is released, and this heat changes some of the water to steam explosively, and the dangerous reaction can take place which can splash the acid on one's face or clothes and cause acid burns. So as this is very highly exothermic reaction, exothermic means heat is evolved in this reaction. So as heat is evolved in this reaction, the it can burn the hands of the person who is handling it. Okay, so it's not recommended to add the water into acid. It is recommended to add acid into water, and while adding we have to continuously stir so that the heat produced will be sprayed in the solution and it will not splash. Okay, so question number 5, how is the concentration of hydronium ion, hydronium matlab H3O plus ions, affected when a solution of acid is diluted? When a given amount of acid is added to water, there is a fixed number of hydrogen ions per volume of the solution. On dilution, see, if you take a given quantity of acid, in this acid has some fixed number of H plus ions, but in that acid if you add water, as compared to the entire solution, the amount of H plus ions now decreased. So on dilution, the H3O plus ions are decreased, so the number of hydronium ions per volume decreases and the concentration also decreases, so it becomes dilute. Next question is, how is the concentration of hydroxide ions affect when excess of base dissolved in the solution of sodium hydroxide? The concentration of sodium hydroxide ion will increase when excess of base is dissolved in a solution of sodium hydroxide, but it happens in a limited extent only, after which the concentration becomes almost constant. Okay, so see, question is kya hai, how is the concentration of hydroxide ions affected when excess base is dissolved in a solution of sodium hydroxide? Excess base is dissolved, so at time OH minus ions will increase. Okay, and at certain stage it will become constant. Okay, because saturated solution will form there. Okay, it will start first increasing when excess of base dissolved and in a solution of sodium chloride, but it happens to a limited extent only. So after some time it will not increase the concentration. Next question is that you have two solutions A and B. The pH of solution A is 6 and the pH of solution B is 8. Which solution has more hydrogen ion concentration? Which of these acidic or which one is basic? So pH value is 7, then it is neutral. Less than 7, sorry, 7, exactly 7 is the neutral, but it is less than 7. So less than 7 is acidic, while greater than 7 indicates basic solution. Since the solution A has more hydrogen ion concentration, solution A is acidic solution and B is basic solution. So next question is what effect does the concentration of H plus ions have on the nature of solution? So more is the concentration of H plus ions, higher is the acidic nature of the solution. So acidity of the solution depends on the number of hydrogen ions. So if the more of the H plus ions, more is the acidic, okay? And then or less is the hydrogen ions, less is the acidity. So question number 3 is, do basic solutions also have H plus ions? If yes, then why are they basic? So basic solution have H plus ions, but these are far less in number than OH minus ions. That is responsible for their basic nature. So every solution has H plus ions, but in some solutions they are very less, so that solution is considered as a basic, because OH minus ions are more as compared to H plus, so there is considered basic. Question number 4, underwater soil conditions, do you think a farmer would treat the soil of his field with the quicklime, okay, or slick lime or chalk, okay? Under what soil conditions do you think a farmer would treat the soil of his field with quicklime, that is calcium hydroxide, or slake lime, that is calcium hydroxide? Quicklime is calcium oxide and slake lime is calcium hydroxide, or chalk, that is calcium carbonate. So in which condition the farmer should add this type of fertilizers in the soil, okay? So now these are basic fertilizers. You can see that these are all three basic substances. Now when these basic substances are added to the soil and if soil is already basic, then it will increase the basicity, which is harmful to crops. These fertilizers can be added in the soil when the soil is too acidic, very acidic, having low pH. Then it is treated with the materials like this calcium hydroxide, that is slake lime, and calcium oxide, that is quicklime, or chalk, that is calcium carbonate, okay? You understand? So when acidic soil is there, this type of fertilizers can be added in the soil to neutralize it. On page number 33 you can see question number 1, what is the common name of compound CaOCl2? CaOCl2 is the bleaching powder, okay? Common name is bleaching powder. You can see the formula of bleaching powder is calcium oxychloride, or it is also called as bleaching powder. Name the substance which on treatment with chlorine yields bleaching powder. So when calcium hydroxide, that is slaked lime, when treated with the chlorine gas, so it will be producing the calcium hydroxide. Now question number 3, name the sodium compound which is used in softening the hard water. So that is sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 is the compound which is used to softening the hard water. Now question number 4 is, what will happen if solution of sodium hydroxide, what will happen if the solution of sodium hydroxide carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate matlab NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated, give equation of the reaction. Now this is the decomposition reaction. So you can see here one reactant, many products. So NaHCO3 on heating, that is on decomposition, it gives sodium carbonate, that is washing soda, along with carbon dioxide and water, okay? So this is the reaction. Question number 5, write the equation to show the reaction between the plaster of Paris and the water, okay? Now plaster of Paris and water is the reaction of obtaining gypsum. Now you see plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. When this is reacting with the water, it absorbs 75% water. Plaster of Paris, that is POP, absorbs 75% water which was lost during the formation, it again produces the gypsum, that is CaSO4 dihydrate. Okay, calcium sulfate dihydrate, it is CaSO4 2H2O, that is gypsum is formed again. So this is the in text question. Now in the next period we will be discussing the questions given in the exercise of this chapter. Okay, so we'll stop here.